Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest of the Overboard Network's Below Deck podcast. Tonight, we're back with our favorite rendition of Below Deck, Sailing Yacht Season 4, Episode 1, titled Parsifal. We've got Daisy, we've got Glenn, we've got a single Colin, and we've almost got Gary. He just needs to stop re-giving himself COVID by breathing into his own pillow, all aboard the Parsifal 3 this season. At least for now. We've got some engine issues we'll get into. It's a bit of a mystery, but what we do have is a fun, single, fit crew on board that could set up to possibly, if not be an all-timer, at least have a lot of action coming on here. Tonight, we'll go over our storylines, get into the episode, and go over our initial crew rankings. Sean, welcome back. We made it, my friend. We got through a season of Med. We got through Below Deck Legacy, and we're back for just another season of Sailing Yacht, and it feels good to be back.
I think, well, so our 2-year anniversary of doing a podcast together has passed, but the first official podcast we did was of Sailing Yacht, and that was in 2021. Yeah, here we are, man. It wasn't even like a full sailing episode because there's no Gary.
Fair. Or sailing.
Or any sailing. They didn't even leave the dock. But I don't know, it's just always so nice to have Glenn and Daisy and Colin. Yeah, there's something, it's just always a breath of fresh air, the show, no matter what. And I liked last season, The Legacy, but we're not worried about getting Sandy at any point this season, It's Sailing Yacht, it's Sailing Yacht. It feels good.
I think one of the things I like about Sailing Yacht is it can't really go wrong. This season is going to fall somewhere between a 7 and a 9.5. You know, there's almost no way it fall. I mean, it could be a 10, but let's just say it's a 7 and a 9.5, and I could not, maybe 7.5, 9.5. I'm making up numbers here. The game's made up. The points don't matter, but honestly, the bar is set so high for Sailing Yacht, but the floor is also so low or so high. It's a high floor season. So, Sean, it's a little bit different this season. So obviously we don't have Gary yet. He's got to pass COVID, and I know every country's a little different. So who knows? It sounds like he tested negative. Does he have to test positive in a couple sequential days? I'm sure we could look that up, but let's just assume we'll get him in the next episode.
I think it's a Bravo thing because in Southern Hospitality, only I care about this show, recently renewed, or rumors at least.
That's awful.
So that show films in South Carolina.
Yep.
And when they go to restaurants and stuff, all of the restaurant servers are wearing masks. I know for a fact South Carolina, that wasn't even a thing in 2020, but I think it's a Bravo thing.
Okay.
So I think it's it's a 51 Minds, the production company that makes Below Deck. I think it's their role. But we know Gary's coming out eventually. Next episode, I would hope.
Yep. I think we get Gary back. Sean, we might not have a boat that works though. Not to bury the lead here. Listen, last time I checked, you're not a boat engineer, and I'm also not one. So let's just shoot from the hip here. We got some water, some salt water in places we don't want. Sean, I'm a small boats guy. Give me.
You are. That's true.
Give me a 22-foot open bow, and I'm real happy. You don't want salt water in there. You really need fresh water or oil to run through those things. So it's not a good start. We're looking at a 2-week turnaround. So I don't know, Sean, do we just go to a new boat at this point? I don't know how there's just a boat hanging around doing nothing.
I think, okay. I remember last year and even 2 years ago, Gary would just randomly fix stuff, even though he's not the engineer. Maybe I'm wildly incorrect. If Gary and Colin give him a couple beers in 3 hours in that engine room, I bet you they would fix it.
Yeah.
Now, I know they got specialists on there that were like, no, this is like a 2-week project. How cool would that be though if Gary just shows up next episode and like fixes it?
It would be great. Like I do feel I mean they even like showed some like cutaways to like previous seasons where Gary's just like pressing buttons, doing things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he knows what he's doing, but it works. And there is kind of like it's actually not an episode of Seinfeld, but I feel like it's like if George Costanza ever owned like his own car and it had 10 things wrong with it, but he like made it work somehow. Like Gary's kind of the same way with this super yacht where he's I don't think he has a degree in whatever he needs a degree in, but he's got duct tape, a paperclip, and enough things to get this thing running. It like that would be nuts if that actually happened, but it could. I don't know.
It'd be very unrealistic if like three specialists that work for that company that make the engine are like, no, like this can't be fixed anytime soon, and Gary just fixes it. So that's probably not going to happen. I think. Do they have a backup boat?
No, yeah, they have the tender.
They do every charter off the tender.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't have a hot tub, I don't think.
No,
I'm
it's
pretty
the
confident it
I
doesn't.
think you just got to go into the water at that point.
So yeah, I mean we are burying the lead, but like, what do you think happens?
I mean, so if we went back and watched the like later this season on Below Deck, we could probably figure out if there's any shots of them being on a boat that isn't the Parsifal,
I
right?
think
Like an interior shot. They're not going to show a different boat with a name, but for whatever reason, I feel like they do not get on another boat. And I don't know how that happens, but I feel like something changes in the next episode where it's like, no, we could do this in 3 days.
and Gary figures it out. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane if that's how it works out. I I think it's they get a new boat, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they show the Parsifal 3 a lot, like that name a lot in the season on. So I guess we'll
And
find out. This is a tough start to the season though, that the boat already doesn't work.
yeah, boat doesn't work. It was really weird because I mean, I don't know, like, is this boat used, like how often it's used, right? But I don't know if it just sat for a while. But Glenn was like, yeah, it worked going across the ocean.
Maybe it's not meant to go across the ocean.
I mean, it's a sail. I mean, I'd hope it could.
That's a lot of ocean though.
Didn't they do cross? They do crossings at the end of every season.
You're right, they do.
So
It
we don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully they get the boat up and running. I do think one of the things that I do like about this rendition is you have so many repeat cast that like Daisy knows where everything is, right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Gary knows where everything is. Colin knows where everything is. And so like you take that equation out of it because like I mean I did watch the like later this season and like things get hard at some point for everybody. Um, but I don't I don't want a headache of being like, where is stuff? Like that's not fun
That's not
as like a
fun.
viewer. As a viewer.
And we do know from this season on that the boat has many problems during the season. So it probably is the same boat.
Yeah.
And it probably is like a Gary duct tape thing that
Because you can I mean, I don't know that much about boats, but I do know that like I think when you take a saltwater engine out, like you take it into the ocean, I think you're supposed to run it filled with like clean water after. Like you basically
okay.
like stick a hose up to it and let it run clean water because then nothing will rust inside. So when you run the clean water, it gets all the salt out and nothing rusts in there. So maybe I mean again, listen, I'm making it up here, but it does seem weird that we still have a season and it doesn't seem like we use another boat. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun. Sean, do you want to get into the crew a little bit? Do you want to do crew
Yeah.
rankings or do you want to do a little bit about the guests? I'm happy to talk about each person here.
Let's we'll do first impressions
Yep.
of the crew like as they arrive, and then we'll finish with the crew rankings. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do this in not the order they arrive, so that'll be fun
Okay.
for you. So we've got Chief. Is it Aisha?
I
Alyssa?
I
Alicia.
Alicia. Alicia.
Alicia. Okay.
But I feel like everyone pronounces it Alicia.
I mean, we're just not going to take that extra step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your
So,
thoughts?
Yacht, it looks like she's been a yacht chef since 2014. Then she went into some privates and restaurants. Um, it sounds like she's from Australia, so
Yes.
we kind of check that box off, take care of that. And I will say that listen, sailing yacht is the hardest to cook in any boat. It's the smallest kitchen. The boat's not this week, but the boat heaves. Um, so even though it was at the dock the whole time, considering the limitations that kitchen has, I loved what she did so far, and I think she's super strong.
Yeah. Okay. Great chef, or food wise so far. Really great chef. Was shocked that she had to meet the guests though. Like that they did like the greeted guests on the dock.
Yep.
So I know she's been I guess she's been working on mostly private yachts, where maybe that's where you have the same owners or the same guests the entire season. I
Yeah.
don't know. I thought that was interesting. Um, but yeah, no, she's cool. I
Can
don't
I tell
know.
you what killed me, Sean? She just rekindled stuff with her ex-boyfriend 3 weeks before going on the show. What are we doing
Yeah,
here, Alicia? Alicia, this is rule number one. If you want to have a good season, come in single.
her and Glenn are the only people in relationships.
Which
Everyone
still
else
is
is
a
single.
good number. That's a good number.
Still a good number,
Yep.
but why did she do that? Feel like she lied to Bravo.
Yeah. Could be. I mean, that's interesting. Are you single? You check the box. Yes. Do you think you're more likely to get on the show?
It's just interesting that she just got back together with someone
Yeah.
right before the show starts.
Here's the thing about relationships, Sean, which you know me. Um, it always works the second time around. You
That's
never,
true.
yeah, like if you ever broke up with someone and then like got back together with them, it probably worked. It never not works. You just forget why you broke up with them in the first place. Those habits never come back.
Mm-hmm.
You live happily ever after. It's a recipe for success, I tell you.
Because both parties have clearly changed. So
Oh,
that
100%
whatever
for the better.
issues were originally there are never there the second time. You're right.
Gone. I mean, we're all changed men at that point. So no, she seems fun though. I think she's around to have a cocktail and things like that. Remember, like Natasha from was it now 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, Selena season two.
Was just like kind of like not into it. Not into like the party side. So I think she could be a very solid addition, and obviously making good food makes the show better. So
It's always
good
like
on her.
it's always like 50-50 if the chef is like interacting with everyone else a lot or not.
Yeah.
I mean, like Marcos last season, he was like good friends with like Gary and Colin.
He was a for the boys guy. Like
Yeah,
he was more into just like chilling.
but he wasn't like dating any of the girls.
Yeah.
But then you'll have like who's like on Ned, like Chef Dave, he's fully immersed in all the drama.
Yep.
So
He was
th-
half the drama.
yeah, he was. And then but then you have like a Natasha who is like you'll get the chef is always gonna have storylines because it's a big part of like service and the charters and everything with the guests. But I don't know, like I could see a world where Alicia's not like interacting with everyone else on nights off.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Too early to tell. But things look good to start. Sean, I'm not going to go into Gary, Colin, Daisy, Glenn. Like listen, we're excited they're back. Gary will be back eventually. It is the best trio, I think, in like below deck history, essentially.
Oh yeah.
And like right now, the staying power is so good. So, it's just interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. Is this something that continues beyond? But this might be the golden season at the end. This might be the last season of these three. So we're just going to cherish it. But let's go into, we've got two stews. So we've got Madison. And by the way, Sean, if you're a girl, a woman,